What up, peeps? Mr. Bones back at you, and it's day 30 of 31 nights of full moon. And continuing on with the Puppet Master series, we're on number 7, Retro Puppet Master. Young Toulon is taught the secrets of life by an Egyptian sorcerer, but then becomes the target of an evil god. Yeah, this one's interesting. This is a prequel. We go back to 1902 to a young 20, almost 30-year-old, blonde-headed young Toulon. And he works at a magic theater puppet show place to do puppet shows. He had a group of friends he worked with, co-workers. And one day this old man shows up sickly, and he takes him in, lies him down, and he's on his last legs, and he has these men in black looking for him. Well, the movie starts off with more of another Power Rangers episode, let's say that. A voice, you can't see it, and I forgot the name of the higher power god, but he brings these mummies to life that are his slaves and work for him, and then they go to look for this sorcerer that stole his magic. And they're dressed, they don't have their galls, they have galls and stuff, look like a mummy when they first are brought back to life, but current time they don't have that on. They're dressed like people like they have to do with Thorn in the Michael Myers series or whatever, and these black bowler hats and fedoras and trench coats, and they're looking for this sorcerer or whatever. And he's at Toulon's theater, and he teaches the boy about his what he knows, which back in this time, in this movie, there's no green serum. He just say some stuff that sounds like the genie from Pee-wee's Playhouse, make a lecca high, make a hiney ho, and you could transfer a human to one of the puppets. So a beggar friend of Toulon's, a young kid, whatever, that stays outside the theater all the time, dies out in front of the place, and the sorceress tells him to bring him inside, and he teaches him about it and puts his friend in the retro-looking Pinhead. All the puppets are really, they look completely different in this, retro-looking. There's a couple that you don't see in any of the other movies. One they call Dr. Death that looks pretty cool. He's in green scrubs and a skull face. And Tunneler, they call Drill Sergeant for some reason. And Pinhead looks a bit different. They all look like straight, raw, shaved puppets. But yeah, so he taught him about that, puts his friend in there. And then these mummy guys show up who look for the sorcerer, and they kill all of his Toulon's friends. Toulon ends up putting them all in all the puppets. And then it's just a battle between the mummies and the puppets. It's kind of interesting and cool. When the puppets attack the mummies and stab the shit out of them, they bleed sand. Instead of blood, they bleed sand because they're mummies from the desert. And this movie is, as I said, a prequel. It shows when he first meets his wife, Ilsa, or Elsa, but they pronounce it like Ilsa, who becomes a leech woman in the earlier movies, and like I think it was the third one. But yeah, it's where he first meets her. It's got some silly stuff in it, but it's pretty good. Then you got Legacy, the 8th movie. Toulon's reanimation formula is in jeopardy when a rogue agent threatens its protector. So all this one is, Legacy, is just like a sort of anthology, but it's there's a guy down in the basement of Bodega Bay gray-haired guy, and it's supposed to be the kid from the third movie that helps him out as a old man adult. And some lady comes down there and points a gun at him and wants to know Toulon's secrets. And he says, I don't know how to make the serum. I don't know secrets, but I'll let you hear the last thing he left me, which was a little tape reel, and they put it on the player. And then it just turns into him telling a bunch of stories to her, which is just clips from all the damn movies up until this one, 1 through 7. I don't know why this movie was made, but I guess it wasn't a horrible watch. So I guess it'd be a good thing to put in and watch if you wanted to watch some Puppet Master but didn't want to watch all the other movies. You could just put that in and pretty much watch all the other movies. It tells a story and shit and tells about all the movies. And it's just pointless. Number 9, Axis of Evil. A young man named Danny saves Toulon's puppets after his death and must now bring them to life to defeat the Axis of Evil. This one is sort of a semi-sequel to the original one. We're just bouncing all over the place in these. I guess you can just squeeze this right in between 1 and 2, and it's like 1.2, because all of a sudden this starts off, it goes back to the beginning of the original where you see Toulon shoot himself in the head at Bodega Bay before the Nazis can get up to him. Well, apparently Danny was working there that day down in the basement for his uncle, he's a craftsman and was making wooden chairs for his uncle for an event. And he was there when Toulon gets killed, and goes up and finds where he hid the chest full of puppets and takes them home with him. He goes home to his mother and his brother. His brother is in the military, and he wishes he could be in the military too with his brother, but he's handicapped or disabled, as you would say. He had a bad leg from an accident or something. And the Nazis from the beginning of the movie are working with some geisha, which is weird. The Nazis and Chinese working together. Chinese, Japanese, I don't know what they are, but working together when Nazis hate everybody. By the way, this movie has a lot of Hail Hitler bullshit and stuff in it. And they end up coming to his house and shooting his mom and kidnapping his girlfriend. Oh, and shooting his brother. So he takes the serum and his brother's blood and puts it in this new puppet that he found, which is a ninja, because it's one of his brother's favorite things to do is sneak up on him and brag about his sneaking skills, how he can sneak up on people. Puts him in a ninja, and they go after the bad guys. And yeah, I enjoyed that one. It was pretty good. Danny and his brother, which is in a ninja puppet, taking out the Japanese and the Germans, and it just goes off and continues on with the next one, which I'll be talking about in the next video. And that's what I watched. Peace.